My wife gave me the silent treatment for a month. At first, I thought it was just another one of her moods, a cold front that would pass. But when the days turned into weeks, and I realized how peaceful life felt without all the tension, something shifted in me. I filed for divorce. Now suddenly, she's begging me to work things out. All right, Reddit. Here's how my wife tried to teach me a lesson, but ended up doing me a favor instead. Because in her silence, I found peace. So grab some popcorn, because this one's a ride. I'm Mason, 36. And believe me, my marriage didn't just explode overnight. It happened in slow motion, over time, like a roof that starts leaking drop by drop until one day, the whole ceiling caves in. The first years were good, really good. I met Susie when I was 31, and she was 28, sharp, funny, that dry kind of humor that sneaks up on you. She could quote Die Hard word for word, and it was adorable. We had a small wedding, maybe 20 people tops. Her older sister, Kelly, showed up looking like someone had just run over her dog, but we didn't care. We were happy. I worked in logistics, made decent money. Susie was a dental hygienist. Together, we built this comfortable little life. A 3-bedroom place in Scottsdale, no kids, 2 cars paid off, and a spare room that turned into our gaming setup. That room used to be our favorite hangout spot. Used to be. Because everything started shifting about 6 months ago. It all began when Kelly's marriage blew up. Suddenly, she had endless free time and endless opinions about everyone else's relationships. She started showing up unannounced, every visit turning into some kind of therapy session I never asked for. Every talk was the same: how men don't understand emotional labor, how women sacrifice too much, how her ex was a narcissist who never lifted a finger. Constant negativity. And slowly, Susie started absorbing it all. Suddenly, the way I loaded the dishwasher was wrong, something she had never once mentioned before. My Monday night gaming sessions with my buddy Nick, something I'd done for years, suddenly became a huge issue. She started keeping score. Every household task turned into some invisible competition. Then Kelly dragged her into a book club with titles like Stop Settling for Less and Reclaim Your Independence from Male Mediocrity. And Susie, my fun, witty, easygoing wife, dove right in. The woman who used to laugh at my dumb jokes now analyzed everything I said like it was a political statement. Every conversation started with Kelly says or Kelly thinks. 2 months back, I gently suggested that maybe she was spending too much time with Kelly. I wasn't demanding anything, just saying, hey, maybe we could use some us time. The way she looked at me, it was like I'd just confessed to a crime. Kelly was right about you, she said. You can't handle a woman having her own life. I shut up after that. Figured I'd wait it out. Big mistake, because my silence apparently meant total agreement. Fast forward to 4 weeks ago, Monday evening, around 6. I got home and found Susie and Kelly in the kitchen, watching some YouTube lecture on women's empowerment. I mentioned I'd be gaming later with Nick, like always. Susie didn't even look up, just kept chopping vegetables with a little too much force. Kelly shot me a look like I'd just said something outrageous. You're gaming again? Susie said flatly. Don't you think that's excessive? We literally gamed together Saturday morning. You were fine then. That was different. That was the weekend, she said. Kelly jumped in, because of course she did. See, Susie? This is exactly what we discussed. Men prioritize hobbies over relationships, then act confused when there's resentment. I wasn't talking to you, Kelly, I said. That's the problem with men like you, she snapped. You don't want to hear uncomfortable truths. What truth? I game 2 hours on Monday nights, 1 night a week. Susie's always known that. At least until you started camping out here. Susie's face went red. Kelly doesn't live here. She's supporting me through a difficult transition. By convincing you our marriage is terrible, I shot back. Kelly stood up, ready for her TED Talk moment. I'm helping Susie realize she deserves a partner who contributes equally, not someone treating her like hired help while playing video games constantly. Constantly. I laughed. 2 hours a week. I did yard work yesterday, fixed the disposal last week, paid the mortgage this morning. But sure, I'm completely useless. Susie slammed the knife down hard. This isn't about chores. It's about respect and priorities. I literally asked what you needed help with, I said. You said nothing. So I'm doing what I planned. Same as every Monday for years. I went to my office, closed the door, put on my headset, and logged in. Nick was already waiting. Yo, what's up, man? Ready to run this? Yeah, I said. Let's go. 2 hours later, I logged off and headed downstairs. Kelly was gone. Susie was sitting on the couch. I dropped next to her, ready to talk like adults. But she stood up without a word, walked upstairs, and locked the bedroom door. That was day one of the dumbest month of my life. The next morning, she'd already left for work. No note, no text, nothing. That evening, she was sitting at the kitchen table scrolling through her phone. Hey, I said, how was your day? Nothing. Not even a glance. I waited a full minute. Susie. Still nothing. She got up, walked right past me like I didn't exist, and locked the bedroom again. And that's how it started, the silent treatment. Kelly's influence working overtime now. By Thursday, same thing. Friday, same thing. By Saturday, I realized this wasn't about cooling off. This was a punishment. A performance. Sunday, I texted Nick. Dude, Susie hasn't spoken to me in 5 days. What did you even do? Literally nothing, I said. We argued about gaming Monday, and now I don't exist. Bro, that's insane. How long are you gonna let this go? Honestly, I texted back. I want to see how long she can actually keep it up. Famous last words. Week 1 was fascinating, in the worst way. She was fully committed. Made breakfast just for herself. Left my dishes piled in the sink. Did her laundry. Left mine sitting untouched. Ordered food, delivery for one, and ate it right in front of me. But the moment her phone rang, she'd switch personalities. Suddenly cheerful, laughing normal. Then she'd hang up, and boom, back to ice-cold silence. Kelly called every single day. Susie never even tried to lower her voice. He's being impossible as usual. No, he hasn't apologized. You were right. I should have listened to you years ago. By day 6, I figured it out. This wasn't about gaming or dishes. This was a power play. She wanted me to crack, to beg. And I'd seen Kelly pull this exact move before, 2 Christmases ago. A cousin said something Kelly didn't like, and she froze her out all night until the poor girl ended up crying in the bathroom. But I'm not some desperate relative seeking her validation. I'm a grown man, in my own house, paying my own bills. So I knew exactly what to do. Day 7, I was watching basketball. Susie came downstairs and stood there in my peripheral vision, waiting for me to pause the game, to ask what was wrong, to start groveling. I kept watching. She cleared her throat, loud enough for me to hear. I still didn't look. She stomped back upstairs. 30 seconds later, I heard her voice through the wall. He's so stubborn. Won't even try fixing this. She wasn't hurt. Not really. What she was doing was trying to train me, like some kind of dog. The idea was simple. Give the husband silence until he learns how to submit properly. The problem? Without her constant criticism, the house actually felt peaceful. No complaints about where I left my coffee cup. No lectures about my TV choices. No suggestions that were really just hidden criticisms. For the first time in months, I could actually breathe. That night, I made a decision. If she wanted to play games, fine, but I'd play by my rules. I walked into the spare room that had somehow turned into her personal storage dump over the last 6 months. My gaming setup, my little escape, was buried under piles of her stuff. Clothes she never wore, decorations that never got used, random online purchases still sitting in unopened boxes. I spent 2 solid hours clearing everything out. Every last bit went straight to the garage. Then I set my gaming chair right back where it belonged. Reconnected everything properly, monitors aligned, mechanical keyboard ready, good mouse, solid headset. By the time I was done, the room finally looked like mine again. The next morning, I woke up early, brewed a cup of coffee, and powered on my computer. Sent Nick a quick message. You around today? Always. What's going on? Susie's still doing the silent thing. Been a full week. Setting up the gaming room properly. Want to run some matches? Heck yeah. Give me 20 minutes. Around 9, Susie came downstairs. I heard her footsteps pause right outside my door. The game audio was clearly audible, keyboard clicking, headset chatter, the works. She stood there for a full minute just listening. I didn't turn, didn't say a word. She walked away, and a few seconds later, slam. The bedroom door hit hard enough to rattle the frame. Nick's voice came through the headset. Dude, was that a door slamming? Yeah, I said. That's Susie expressing her feelings. She's not even talking to you, he laughed. What's she gonna do? Not talk louder? I actually laughed. Good point. We played for 3 hours. And man, I'd forgotten how good it felt. Not just the gaming itself, but the freedom. No walking on eggshells. No Kelly in the background explaining how my hobbies represented toxic masculinity. Just me doing what I wanted. When we wrapped up, I walked to the kitchen to grab a bottle of water. Susie was making lunch, looking at me with this mix of guilt and expectation, like she was waiting for an apology that wasn't coming. I smiled, grabbed my water, and walked right back to my room. Her face turned bright red. The fridge door slammed so hard the whole thing shook. Day 8, I added more sessions. Morning with Nick. Afternoon solo. Evening with our old guild. Guys I hadn't played with in months, because Susie always complained about it. They were shocked to see me online. Dude, where have you been? Long story, I said. I'm back now though. And just like that, Susie's punishment had accidentally turned into permission. Permission to do everything she'd been cutting out of my life piece by piece. And I was taking full advantage. Day 9, Nick actually came over with his laptop. We set up side by side like old times. Proper gear, pizza delivery, energy drinks, tournament brackets going. Susie walked by the doorway and froze when she saw him there. Saw us laughing, trash talking, having fun. The look she gave me could have curdled milk. But she couldn't say anything, not without breaking her precious silent treatment. Nick leaned over. Your wife just death stared me. Yeah, I said. She does that constantly now. How long's this gonna last? No idea. But I'm not stopping either way. What do you mean? I mean the longer she stays silent, the more I realize how much better everything is. No criticism. No Kelly camping out here. No guilt for breathing. Just peace. Nick looked at me seriously. Bro, are you actually okay? Better than I've been in months. After he left, I sat there in my chair, staring at the ceiling. And for the first time, I felt real clarity. I'd spent 6 months trying to become whatever husband Susie and Kelly thought I should be. And I'd completely forgotten who I actually was before all that. The silent treatment wasn't punishment anymore. It was freedom. Week 2, I didn't just game. I started taking back every single part of my life that Susie had slowly eroded. She watched in silence, trapped in her own strategy. The living room went first. Susie had rearranged everything for her reality shows. Couch at weird angles, coffee table pushed too far out, made watching sports physically painful. Saturday morning, I moved it all back. Couch facing the TV properly. Coffee table at perfect foot height. Gaming chair in the corner, where it belonged. When she came downstairs, she froze. Mouth open, closed. She wanted to complain so badly, needed to. But she couldn't without admitting she'd lost the game. She grabbed her purse and left. Didn't come back for 4 hours. When she finally did, I was stretched out on the couch, game on the big screen, feet up. She stood there in the doorway, waiting for guilt to hit me. I didn't even look up. Next came the kitchen. Susie had gotten weird about counter space lately. Wanted everything hidden except her useless decorative jars. My protein powder? Banished to the pantry. Vitamins stuffed in drawers. Toaster oven? Moved to the garage because it ruined her aesthetic. Forget that noise. I set up a proper morning station. Toaster out. Coffee maker in the perfect spot. Protein powder right there. Vitamins organized and visible. Everything finally usable. Every morning, I made coffee at my new setup, while Susie had to navigate around me. Frustration written all over her face. But what could she say? Then I started cooking whatever I actually wanted. For months, Susie had been meal prepping bland chicken and quinoa salads based on Kelly's recommendations. Health food, that tasted like cardboard. Suggesting burgers or tacos used to get me a lecture about nutrition and cholesterol. Now, I cooked real food. Spicy wings, loaded nachos, thick steaks with garlic butter. Meals that actually made me happy. Susie would smell it cooking and hover nearby, obviously wanting some. But she couldn't ask without breaking her silence. So she'd just make her sad protein smoothies while my dinner filled the house with the smell of actual life. Day 14, Nick came. Over again. We ordered ridiculous amounts of Chinese food and played all day. A full gaming marathon. 2 rigs side by side. Nick grinned. You're really leaning into this silence thing, huh? Why not? I said. She wanted me to suffer, apparently. Instead, I'm having the best time in months. What's your endgame here? Living my life. If she wants to stop ignoring me, she can. If not, I'm definitely not suffering. He packed up around 10 that night, but before leaving, he stopped at the door and looked at me. You seem lighter somehow, like the real you is actually back. I smiled. That's called being single while married, man. And he was right. I was living like a bachelor in my own house, and I had never been happier. The garage became my next project. Susie had filled it to the brim. Storage overflow, old clothes from 3 sizes ago, seasonal decorations, random purchases she'd forgotten about. My workbench was buried under it all. Sunday, I cleared everything out, moved all her stuff to one corner, set up my workbench exactly how I wanted it, every tool cleaned and organized. Then, I started the project I'd been dreaming about for over a year, a custom PC build. High-end gaming rig. Parts I'd been collecting slowly but never assembled, because Susie always complained about the money, the time, or the noise. That afternoon, the garage was alive. The hum of power tools, the smell of thermal paste, the rhythm of focus. Susie appeared in the doorway, watching me quietly for several minutes. I could feel her wanting to ask what I was building, wanting to criticize something, anything. But she didn't. She just turned and walked away. That night, I texted Nick a photo of the finished setup, 3 glowing monitors, full RGB. The whole ridiculous masterpiece. Bro, that's beautiful, Nick said. Your wife must be absolutely losing it. Pretty sure she is, I told him. Still hasn't said a single word, though. Nick laughed. Dude, how long are you actually letting this go? As long as it takes, honestly. For what? To figure out if I even want her to start talking again. And there it was, the thought I'd been dodging for 2 solid weeks. The silent treatment was supposed to make me desperate for her attention, but instead, it made me wonder why I ever wanted that attention in the first place. By week 3, Susie was unraveling. The silence that was meant to break me was now breaking her instead. I could see it, the restless way she moved around the house, hovering outside my door to listen, slamming cabinet doors like punctuation marks for feelings she couldn't voice. Kelly was around constantly now, whispering advice that got louder and more bitter each day. He's doing this just to spite you, Kelly hissed. Trying to prove he doesn't need you. That's textbook manipulation. The irony of it all was almost too good. I wasn't scheming. I wasn't manipulating. I was just living. Playing games, cooking what I liked, finally breathing in my own home again. But somehow, that was manipulation. Day 19. Nick and I were in the middle of a raid when Susie's voice carried through the whole house. She wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. It's been almost 3 weeks, Kelly. He genuinely doesn't care. He's actually happier now, gaming every single day, acting like I don't exist, like our entire marriage means nothing. Kelly's voice came through the speaker, sharp and full of ego. You're showing him he can walk all over you. You need to escalate this somehow. Make him understand what he's actually losing. How exactly? He won't even look at me anymore. I don't know, Susie, but you cannot break first. That means he wins everything. Nick's voice came through my headset, low and amused. Dude, are you hearing this conversation? Yeah, loud and clear. Your wife is taking marriage advice from her divorced sister. You see the problem there? Oh, I see it perfectly. So what are you actually going to do? Honestly, I paused, starting to think about making this permanent. Nick went silent. You mean divorce? Every single day makes it clearer, I said quietly. I'm better off without her. Day 21. Susie's parents showed up without warning, casserole dishes in hand, confused smiles on their faces. First time I'd seen them in a month. Susie greeted them like everything was perfectly fine. Her dad spotted me across the room and waved. Hey, sport. How's work treating you? It's good, I said, shaking his hand. Susie's smile faltered. She probably expected me to ignore them or cause a scene, but I was calm, polite, completely normal. We sat down to dinner together. Her mom's pot roast was great. I complimented it, asked about their week, talked about work projects, just a regular Sunday conversation. Meanwhile, Susie sat there stewing in silence, the tension rolling off her, because I wasn't playing along with the story she'd built. Then her dad asked about holiday plans, and Susie jumped in too quickly. We haven't actually discussed that yet. Those were her first words spoken to me in 3 weeks. Her parents didn't even notice. After they left, she turned on me like a storm. You did that on purpose. I started clearing the dishes, calm and steady, loading the dishwasher, wiping the table, not saying a single word. Don't you dare ignore me now, she snapped. You can talk to my parents, but not your own wife. I walked to my gaming room, closed the door, and put on my headset. She followed, standing in the doorway, desperate. You can't just shut me out like this. I booted up my game. Nick was already online, waiting. Actually, Susie, I can. You spent 3 weeks showing me exactly how. That's completely different, she shot back. I had actual reasons. So do I said evenly. I finally realized how much better my life is when you're not actually part of it. Her jaw dropped. She stood frozen, processing, before turning and running upstairs. The bedroom door slammed, followed by sobbing. Then the inevitable call to Kelly. He says he's completely done, Susie cried. What do I even do now? Kelly's voice, sharp as ever, cut through the silence. He's bluffing. Men always come back eventually. Give him space. He'll realize he can't do any better than you. And in that moment I knew. Not out of anger, not for revenge, but pure, solid clarity. Staying married meant staying connected to Kelly's toxic shadow forever. I'd rather be alone. That night, I opened my browser and started researching divorce attorneys in Phoenix. Day 29. I took a personal day from work. After Susie left for her shift, I drove downtown to Monica's law office. Tell me what's going on, she said gently. We spent 2 hours going through it all. The house, the cars, the separate bank accounts. No kids, no major debts, just a shared mortgage. This should be relatively straightforward, she said finally. When would you like these served? Tomorrow morning, I replied. Day 30. Exactly. Feels right. On the drive home, I stopped at a flower shop. Picked up white lilies. That night, I gamed until 3 in the morning. Didn't even tell Nick about the papers. I just wanted one last night of peace before. Everything changed tomorrow. Upstairs, Susie was asleep, probably dreaming about me finally breaking, about me begging for forgiveness. She had no idea what was coming. At 6 a.m., I woke up, made my coffee, set the lilies on the kitchen table in a simple vase, and left a folded note beside them. Thank you for the most enlightening month of our entire marriage. Under that note, I placed a manila envelope face up, divorce papers clearly visible through the window. Then I walked into my gaming room, booted up my computer, and messaged Nick casually. Might need to crash at your place tonight. He replied instantly. What's happening, man? You'll see soon enough. At 7:45, like clockwork, I heard Susie's footsteps heading to the kitchen, then stopping. Silence. 1 full minute of it. Papers rustling. She was reading everything. I kept my eyes on the screen. Fast footsteps. She appeared in my doorway, holding the papers, her face pale as snow. What is this supposed to be? I think you can read just fine. You're divorcing me over me not talking for 1 month? I turned my chair, looked right at her. No, Susie. Because this month showed me exactly who you've become. And I don't want to be married to that person anymore. You can't be serious. We can fix this. There's nothing to fix. You gave me a month of silence to punish me for gaming with my friend. Instead, you accidentally gave me a month to realize how much better my actual life is without you, without Kelly, without constant criticism, without walking on eggshells in my own house. Her hands were shaking. This is completely insane. You're throwing away our marriage because I was upset? You weren't upset, Susie. You were playing power games. And it backfired. You wanted to show me what life without your attention looked like. Mission accomplished. Turns out, I genuinely like it better. She threw the papers onto my desk. I won't sign these. You can't make me. You don't have to sign anything, I said calmly. Arizona's no-fault divorce. I can divorce you with or without your cooperation. But you will sign eventually. Because fighting just costs us both money neither of us needs to waste. Her face cycled through 5 different emotions: confusion, anger, denial, realization. And then it hit her. Kelly was right about you from the start. You can't handle a strong, independent woman. I laughed softly. Kelly? Your bitter divorced sister who's been poisoning your head for 6 straight months? Yeah, let's definitely trust her judgment on successful relationships. That's clearly worked out great. Don't you dare blame Kelly for this. I'm blaming you for actually listening, for letting her turn you into someone I don't even recognize anymore. I stood up. She stumbled back a little. You know what I learned? I said, peace. Just existing without needing permission. Realizing I'd rather be alone and content than together and miserable. That's when she started crying, not manipulative tears this time. Real ones. I'll change everything, she said through sobs. I'll tell Kelly to stay away permanently. We can do counseling, whatever you need. I don't want counseling. I don't want to fix this. I want out completely. Please, she whispered, grabbing my arm desperately. I love you. I still love you. You loved controlling me. That's a big difference. I pulled away gently. The papers are real. My attorney is Monica. Get your own lawyer. We can do this easy, or we can do it hard. That choice is yours. Where are you going right now? Nick's place. I'll be back tomorrow for my stuff. Use the time to process everything, and maybe call an attorney. Not Kelly, though. Actually call a lawyer. She just stood there crying as I walked past her. I grabbed my keys, wallet, laptop, walked out the front door, and drove straight to Nick's. He opened the door in pajamas, eyes wide. Dude, it's 8:30. Just served Susie divorce papers. His eyes went huge. You actually did it? Yep. Can I crash here for a bit? He stepped aside immediately. My couch is yours, man. But are you okay? Like really okay? I sat down on his couch, exhaled. For the first time in 6 months, I feel like myself again. So yeah, better than okay. He gave a low whistle. Honestly, you went complete scorched earth. No, Nick. I ended my marriage because my wife showed me, very clearly, that I don't need her in my life. Big difference. My phone started buzzing right then, Susie calling. I declined. Then again, declined. Text started pouring in. Please come home. We need to talk. You're making a huge mistake. Then another. Kelly says you're scared of real commitment. I won't let you do this to us. I showed Nick the screen. He whistled again. She's spiraling hard. Let her spiral. My attorney handles everything now. I'm just going to game and enjoy my freedom. And that's exactly what we did. Gamed for 6 straight hours. My phone kept lighting up nonstop. By evening, 63 missed calls, over 100 texts. Susie and Kelly calling me every name possible. Her parents asking what happened. I replied to exactly one text, Susie's mom. Susie can explain everything. Immediate response. Surely you two can work this out somehow. I don't want to work it out, I replied. No response after that. The next week was educational. Susie didn't just spiral. She went nuclear. And Kelly was right there beside her, pouring gasoline on every spark. Day 2, I went back home to grab clothes and my gaming equipment. Susie was waiting right inside. Kelly there too, obviously, for moral support or whatever she called it. You can't just leave like this, Susie said. You owe me a real conversation at minimum. I had a full month for conversations, I told her. You specifically chose silence. I started packing clothes into a duffel bag. This is completely different. You blindsided me with papers. I blindsided you? I laughed. You spent an entire month pretending I didn't exist. What exactly did you think would happen? Kelly jumped in immediately. Classic male behavior. Running away instead of facing real problems. I'm not running, I said calmly. I'm leaving permanently. Big difference. And I'm not even slightly interested in your opinion. Her face went red. You're exactly what I told Susie from day one, a man-child. Susie's eyes filled with tears. You don't understand what you're actually giving up here, she said softly. 5 years together. Our home. Our whole life. This has been Kelly's life, I said quietly, with you as her puppet. I walked to my gaming room and started unplugging my monitors. Kelly followed me, relentless. You're being selfish. Susie supported you. And this is how you repay her? Supported me? How? By criticizing my gaming? My food choices? My friends? My use of my own house? What exactly did she support? Susie appeared in the doorway. I was trying to make us better people. Kelly was helping me see clearly. Better than what? I asked. Happy? We were genuinely happy before Kelly got divorced and decided everyone else should be miserable too. I packed up everything. 6 boxes of gear, 3 bags of clothes. Loaded it all carefully into my car. Then I came back inside one last time. My attorney will contact you about the house, I said quietly. We can sell and split the proceeds, or one person buys out the other. I'm not selling our house, then buy out my half. I honestly don't care either way. Kelly stepped forward, her tone sharp, her stance defiant. You'll regret this decision. When you're alone and miserable, you'll come crawling back, and Susie won't be waiting around. I looked directly at Susie, not at Kelly. Is that what you actually think? She didn't answer, just cried, while her sister spoke for her like always. That's what I thought. I left and drove to Nick's. Didn't look back once. Over the following weeks, Susie tried absolutely everything. Kelly created family group chats, explaining how I'd abandoned Susie. Added me repeatedly. I blocked everyone. Then came the social media campaign. Kelly posting long rants about men who can't handle strong women. Susie shared everything. When you spend years supporting someone and they throw it away like trash. Susie's dad called 3 days later. Hey, sport. We want to understand what actually happened here. This doesn't sound like the man I know. What's the real story? I explained everything carefully. 6 months of Kelly's influence, the constant criticism, the silent treatment, the realization that I was genuinely happier without it all. He stayed quiet for a while. Kelly's been living with us temporarily, he finally said. She's very vocal about your supposed flaws. I'm absolutely sure she is, I replied. Look, I won't tell you what to do with your life, he said softly. But I've never seen you as anything except good to our daughter. If you've reached this point, something serious must have happened. It did, I said. Thanks for actually calling. Susie tried different approaches over the next week. She showed up at Nick's apartment at 11 p.m. Nick answered the door. Is he here right now? It's 11 at night. I need to talk to him now. I came to the door. She looked terrible, red, swollen eyes, unwashed hair, old sweatpants. What are you doing here, Susie? Mason, please come home with me. Let's fix this together. Nick disappeared to his room. I stood in the doorway. No. Come on. Are you really going to end our marriage over one thing? Okay, fine, Kelly was wrong. I made a mistake. But that doesn't mean we get divorced. Why not? Her face turned red. I was confused, okay? And now suddenly I see clearly. I had something good. I completely ruined it, listening to my sister. Please, Mason, just give me a chance to fix this. She cried harder. I genuinely felt bad, but not bad enough. Susie, I'm actually done with you. You spent 6 months becoming someone I don't recognize. You let your sister dictate everything. I can't do it anymore. No. We can figure it out together. Kelly will stay away completely. I promise. I don't want to fix it. How can you do this? You're throwing everything away over this? Yes. Apparently. She stood there another minute, then walked away slowly, got in her car, and drove off. The next few days, Kelly ramped everything up. She actually called my work, told my boss I was having a mental breakdown and needed intervention. My boss called me confused. Your ex-sister-in-law just called saying you're in crisis. What's going on? I told him the brief version, told him I was getting divorced. Do you need any time off? Nope. Doing great, actually. He laughed. I'll block her number. Then Kelly tried turning mutual friends against me, systematically, relentlessly, creating elaborate narratives about emotional abandonment and cruelty. Some people believed her version, but Nick and several others set the record straight. Most people ended up siding with me. The ones who didn't weren't real friends anyway. 3 months later, the divorce was finalized. The house sold quickly. We each got $72,000 after the mortgage payoff. Clean split down the middle. I moved into a solid 2-bedroom apartment in Tempe. Set up my gaming room exactly how I wanted it. Had Nick over twice weekly. Joined my old guild full-time again. Started actually living. Susie spiraled further down. Kelly moved in with her, apparently. According to mutual friends, they spent every night complaining about terrible men over takeout. Susie tried dating someone, met a guy on an app, but apparently spent the entire first date talking about her ex-husband. No second date happened. She tried a few more times. Same result every single time. Nobody wants someone that bitter and broken. Kelly kept encouraging her, though, kept insisting she deserved someone better. The irony was almost poetic. Kelly destroyed Susie's marriage, convincing her she deserved better. And now, she was destroying her dating life with the exact same advice. Meanwhile, I was thriving. Started hitting the gym regularly. Got back in shape. Made new friends through gaming. Went on a few dates, nothing serious yet, but the difference was night and day. I wasn't bitter anymore. Life was peaceful. 6 months post-divorce, I ran into Susie at Target, basically unavoidable in Phoenix. She was shopping with Kelly. Both saw me. Kelly immediately tried to leave, pulling Susie's arm, but Susie stopped and just stared. I grabbed what I needed and walked to check out. Didn't say a word. Didn't even look their way. But Susie followed me, left Kelly standing in the aisle, and caught me at my car in the parking lot. Can we talk for a minute? I looked at her carefully. She'd lost noticeable weight. Dark circles under her eyes. She looked exhausted and worn down. Talk. I'm sorry. That's what I needed to say to you. Okay. Kelly ruined everything. She got completely in my head. I thought you were the problem, but you weren't. She was, the whole time. You made your own choices. She nodded slowly. Are you seeing someone now? Not your business. Her face fell hard. Right. Of course not. For what it's worth, I hope you figure things out eventually, I said. But stop listening to your sister. I drove away. She stood there watching until I turned the corner. A few months later, I heard she moved to Denver for a fresh start, away from Kelly. Finally working on herself. I genuinely hoped it worked out for her. Life just kept improving. Bought my dream gaming setup. Started running marathons. Made complete peace with being single, and actually enjoyed it. These days, when people ask if I regret the divorce, I laugh. Regret what exactly? Discovering I'm happier alone than in a miserable marriage? The silent treatment was supposed to teach me a lesson. It absolutely did, just not the one Susie intended. It taught me that love without respect is worthless. And sometimes, the trash really does take itself out. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.